Yeah, yeah. Please start.
Ma'am, 1 second, ma'am.
Shanmuka, are you able to follow? Are you able to understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Which
Yes,
school
ma'am.
are you from? Which school are you from?
KKR Gautam, ma'am.
Okay, KR Gautam School, Rajahmundry.
Ma'am, I'm starting.
Yes, please start.
My topic is about Manmohan Singh, ma'am.
Hmm.
He was born to the Gurmukh Singh and Amit Kaur in the year 1932 on 26th September, ma'am. He lost his mother in the very young age, and he was raised by his paternal grandmother. And he used to study. He's a very bright student from the school itself. And in his village there is no proper electricity also. He was he born in the British India in the Punjab, ma'am. There is no electricity also, and he used to study under the candlelight. After partition of India, he went to the Amritsar and studied at the Hindu college for the graduation. And he was married to Gurshan Kaur, and she was his spouse, and he has 3 daughters, ma'am. And his academic record is it's very excellent. He done from University of Cambridge in the economic typos. The first class of he got in the first class in the as a honors degree also, and he did his matriculation in Punjab University, and he is a professor of economics in the 1963 to 1965, and he worked at the United Nations Secretariat also from the year 1966 to 1969 as an economics affair officer, and he's a and he's senior lecturer in economics from the year 1957 to 1959, and these are some of the positions he held during his work experience. And he is an elected member of Rajya Sabha in the in September 1991, and he is chairman for the University of Grants Commission. It is something like it will be
UGC.
after the
University Grants Commission.
Yes, ma'am. UGC. Now that is very famous in the nowadays also. And he is the advisor of the Prime Minister of India on economic affairs in the year 1991 in the from December 1990 to March of 1991. And he is re-elected for the Rajya Sabha for a term of 6 years in June 1995. And he is a famous economist also. And he held his position as a finance minister as during the being a member of Rajya Sabha from June 21, 1991 to May 15, 1996. And his works as a finance minister as India's financial deficit was close to 8.5% of GDP approximately, and India foreign reserves barely amounted to $1 billion US, and in comparison to $83 billion today, and it's very and for a few weeks of imports only, man. And he held new economic policies, and he dismantled the license Raj system.
Good.
And these are some of the things that's it, man. Thank you.
Very good, very good. Yeah. So he was I should say, the latest, the modern, developments in India are. We should give that credit to our Prime Minister P.V. Narasimha Rao, and also our former Prime Minister Dr. Manmohan Singh. Both of them had a clear idea about steering India into this growing of the GDP, and to put India on a much developed economy. So still it is a developing country, but we can see the foreign investment started flowing into the country, and that really helped the economy to boost up. Next, who will give the presentation? Charan?
Ma'am.
Yeah, ma. Will you speak? Your topic is Srinivasa Ramanujam.
Yes, ma'am.
Will you speak about Srinivasa Ramanujam?
Yes, ma'am. My name is B. Charan. My topic is Srinivasa Ramanujan. Srinivasa Ramanujan was a great mathematician of India. He had born on 22nd December 1885 in Madras during the British rule. Intentionally, he was not interested in traditional education before attaining the age of 15. He had mastered in various sections of mathematics. He received the K. Ranganatha Rao Prize for Mathematics. In 1904, he married on 14 July 1909. During his days in Cambridge, he became close to the great mathematician Hartley. He wrote many books comparing his theories and formulas. On 26 April 1920, he died at the age of 32. Thank you.
At a very young age, and his birthday is considered as National Mathematics Day. So which day is National Mathematics Day?
22nd December.
Recently, 22nd December. So in memory of him. So even after 100 years of his birth also, the questions that he has put up, people are still solving those puzzles, Srinivasa Ramanujan, what he has given. So a great Indian mathematician that all of us are proud of. Very young age he died, 32. And all of you must know about what is Ramanujam's number. Ramanujam's number is 1729 is given as Ramanujam's number. So why do we call it Ramanujam's number?
Ma'am, because it can be expressed as sum of two cubes, ma'am, like two different types of cubes.
Yeah. So
The first number.
1729 is the smallest number. The story goes like this. Ramanujam, to visit Ramanujam from London, James Hardy, his best friend, another great mathematician, had come down. So he told, Hardy told that, see, maybe my taxi number is an unlucky number that I have to see you in this bad situation. It's not well, right? Not healthy. So he said that, what is your taxi number? 1729. Yeah, he said that immediately, instantly Ramanujam told, no, that is the smallest number, which can be expressed as the cubes of two numbers, sum of the cubes of two numbers in two different ways. Means you can write it as 10 cube plus 9 cube. 10 cube is 1000, no? 1000 plus 9 cube, 9 nines are 81, 81 nines are 729. Total is 1729, right? Now, what is, it can also be written as 12 cube plus 1 cube. Two different ways you can express this. This is the smallest number, which can be expressed as sum of the cubes of two numbers in two different ways. 12 cube is 1728 plus 1. 1 cube is 1. So this is 1729. So instantly he played with numbers. He says that in his brain all the numbers will be juggling. Yes. So such a great mathematician. Very unfortunate that he died at a very young age. And also he says that except mathematics, he was not interested in any other thing. So he couldn't complete his degree also, because he failed in the other subjects. Degree usually will have maths, physics, chemistry, or maths with two other subjects, right? He's not interested in the other two subjects. So he used to fail. So he started as a small clerk post he has taken up. So this such great mathematician taking up a small clerk position, but later his papers which he has written down when he had sent it to the to Cambridge University. They had to London when they had sent. They were amazed by his works, and later they called him over there, invited him over there. So this is the story of Srinivasa Ramanujan. Yeah, a great mathematician. I will be sharing a little notes about all these great personalities also. Now next, Charan is done, Vikram is done, Sneha, will you be able to press it now?
Yes, ma'am. I'll just share my screen once. Ma'am, is it visible?
Yes, Annie Besant.
Annie Besant. Annie Woods was born on October 1st, 1847 in London, England. Besant was a British social reformer, campaigner for women's rights, and a supporter of Indian nationalism. When Annie was 19, Annie married Frank Besant, a clergyman, and they had 2 children. But Annie's increasingly anti-religious views led to a legal separation in 1873. Besant became a member of the National Secular Society, which preached free thought, and also of the Fabian Society, the noted social organization. She had an unhappy childhood, undoubtedly, partly due to her father's death when she was just 5. Annie's mother persuaded her friend Ellen, sister of writer Frederick Marryat, to take responsibility of her daughter, and Ellen ensured that Annie received a good education. Under the guardianship, Annie secured good education. During her early days, she traveled to Europe. These expeditions shaped much of her future thinking and her outlook. She constantly questioned the status of Church of England and demanded for a secular state through her write-ups, columns, and public speeches. The article she wrote, she lived in a time where women
Hello. 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 Sneha, I think so, had some network issue and got disconnected. Yeah, okay. So I will share a few important, there are other personalities which the other students are absent. So I'll be sharing that with all of you. I've prepared a, meanwhile, let Sneha join back. Okay. So this is about Srinivasa Ramanujam. I have explained it to you. So he had, I told you, he had postal correspondence with the great English mathematician G.H. Hardy, who was working at University of Cambridge, England. So with his extraordinary work in his biography, we can see that at one point of time, he felt that he was not knowing what was happening in the other countries, right, about the developments in mathematics. He did not know. So he said that he started working on the things which were already existing in the other countries. So he was very hardworking, very down to earth, a humble being, I can say. Yeah, so he was also called as FRS, means Fellows of Royal Society. He became one of the youngest Fellows of Royal Society. and he also was elected for as a fellow of Trinity College, Cambridge. So great caliber, but due to ill health, yeah, he had to come back. He had tuberculosis, and in those days, tuberculosis was not, curable. Nowadays, it is preventable. It is like now very much curable. So he also here it's given that he also had a hepatic ambiosis. So that clearly brought the end to the great mathematician. Next, coming to B.R. Ambedkar. So anybody who can give few points about B.R. Ambedkar, what do you know about this famous personality?
Ma'am, I think Bhima Rao is from his teacher's name, ma'am. Bhima Rao is from his teacher's name.
Teacher's name. Usually they have their father's names also, right? Bhimrao Ramji Ambedkar.
Yes, ma'am. Because of he is being bullied in the school because of his caste. His teacher has gave his surname, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. I think Bhima Rao or Ramji. I don't know in these two of
which one? Okay. Oh,
Yes,
that's great. That's great. But one of the great, I should say, the person who had written the constitution of the country, right? Indian constitution to write Indian constitution. Ma?
Father of Indian Constitution, ma'am.
Father of Indian constitution. He had studied various constitutions across the world. Yes. And then he has, led the team of Indian constitution, right? So he was basically untouchables. So Gandhiji, what did he coin the word for untouchables? See, the people who were from the upper caste, that means, in those days had totally suppressed the lower class. Lower class means in Hindu society is being divided into Brahmins, Kshatriyas. Yeah, then you have the Brahmins, Kshatriyas, you have the Vaisyas, and then the Sudras. Sudras are treated as the last section who were doing even there are carpenters, there are painters, masons, maestries, all these are there in that. So they were treated, and especially those who were taking care of making shoes or making those people were always put out of the village. They were those were not allowed into the temples. They were not allowed to meet the people or attend a marriage. So such bad situation it was in those days. So in such a Vikram wrote, Brahmin teacher Krishnaji Keshav Ambedkar changed his surname from to Ambedkar. Okay, in school records.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yeah.
Ma'am, I got disconnected actually.
Yes. Please continue, Sneha. Please continue.
Okay, ma'am. Should I start from the beginning or like where I left?
Where you left, you can start.
Okay, ma'am. 1 second. She found Hinduism very spiritual and philosophic as compared to other religions. She quoted.
You can share the screen, it's not seen.
Okay, ma'am, 1 second.
Once you try, otherwise you can do it without that also.
Yeah, 1 second.
You continue, no problem.
Yes, ma'am, 1 second.
You can try for a minute.
Ma'am, is it visible?
Yeah. Yes, the articles she wrote.
Yeah. Her article, White Slavery in London, where she drew attention to the dangers of phosphorus fumes and complained about the low wages paid to women who worked in Bryant and May. This is the article which Charles Bradlaugh and Annie Besant wrote in a national reformer. Her life in India. Social and political reform seems not to have satisfied Besant's hunger for some old embracing truth to replace the religion of her youth. She became interested in theosophy, a religious movement founded in 1875 and based on Hindu ideas of karma and reincarnation as a member and later leader of the Theosophical Society. Besant helped to spread theosophical beliefs around the world, notably in India. Besant first visited in India in 1893 and later settled here. Becoming involved in Indian nationalist movement in 1916, she established the Indian Home Rule League with Lal Gangadhar Tilak. She was also the leading member of the Indian National Congress. She launched numerous educational foundations. It gave her original hand details about India and Indians Indians of the lower middle class who have been impacted by the British rule and its education system. In the late 1920s, Besant traveled to the United States with her protege and adopted son Jiddu Krishnamurti, who she claimed was the new Messiah and incarnation of Buddha. Krishnamurti later rejected the claims in 1929. Besant died in India on 20 September 1933 at the age of 85 in Adyar, Madras Presidency, British India, and her body was cremated. That's it, Mom.
Very good, very good. So she was she was the teacher of Jiddu Krishnamurti, and anybody can tell who is Jiddu Krishnamurti? What is he famous for?
No, ma'am.
You must have heard Rishi Valley School in Madanapalli. Great philosopher and teacher. He's called a world teacher. So this society which they have formed is liberalism, not to follow any particular religion. She always felt that the Pope, the church, was very, very, just like how in Indian society, like the Brahmins have suppressed the other, the Dalits and the lower sections people. In the same way, in Western countries, the Pope and the church had a great, I should say, they had a lot of power. So they wanted everybody to listen to them. So in that fight for success, they always used to, whoever was against the church, they used to punish them or put them out of the society, deprive them of all the basic facilities also. So like that it used to happen. Okay, so now we are reading about Bhimrao Ambedkar also. So from that small Dalit family in Maharashtra, he got opportunity to rise up, and we should say Mahatma Gandhi had a great ideology. He named those untouchables as Harijans, means they are the people of the God. Hari is God. So is people of the God. So he coined them as Harijans, the Dalits as Harijans. So that is how, when India got independence, he became the law minister of the country. And thereby he was given this responsibility of writing the constitution. For the constitution is the rules and regulations that the country should have when it is like, no, you're going to have their own elections, their own government and all this. And people say that he followed Buddhism. So Buddha and his Dhamma. So this book was published once again. Next is about Sardar Patel. This was Sardar Vallabhai Patel. This was supposed to be given by Aditi. She is not in the class today. So can anybody tell few points about Sardar Vallabhai Patel and why he was in
Ma'am, he is known
news?
as the Iron Man of India.
Iron Man of India? First point. Next point.
Ma'am, he is the reason for being the shape of India right now, ma'am. Nearly 540 princely states he combined into the India, ma'am.
Okay.
Yeah, ma'am, by threatening or
562 princely states. Yeah?
yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Ma'am, he was deputy minister of India.
Deputy Prime Minister also. Next, anything else? Why was he so much in news? Yeah?
Because of his statue in Gujarat.
Yes. What is that statue called as? What is that statue called as?
Statue of Unity, ma'am.
Statue of Unity. And why is the Statue of Unity in news? When was it? What is it?
Ma'am, it is one of the most
one of the
most largest statues.
tallest statue. Tallest statue. Can anyone tell how tall it was? 100, and you can note down 182 meters tall. That means around 600 feet. 600 feet. Suppose a tall person is about 6 feet, like 100 tall people standing one on the other. That is the height. And it is near river Narmada. It is in Gujarat, right? And many people have, and when was this inaugurated? The Statue of Liberty, Statue of Unity. Can anyone tell the date? Or when is the birthday of Sardar Patel? Give me 1 minute. Give me 1 minute.
On 31st October. Ma'am? On 31st October 1875.
1875 is his birthday, right? 31st October is celebrated as National Unity Day also every year. Then in 2018, 31st October, did I mention August or October? Just 31st October 2018, this statue had been inaugurated, right, by our Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi. And many people have objected, saying that it is all waste of money. Why is government wasting so much of money? Is there any answer for that? Do you people feel it's a waste of money?
Not there are pros and cons for that.
Yes. It is constructed in the PPP model. What is this PPP? Public-private partnership. When the government is not able to invest so much of money, nowadays you can see the metro lines are there in the metropolitan cities. Yeah, it helps in the movement of the conveyance, in the local conveyance for the city, right? So it helps the people a lot in moving from one place to long distances, especially for their workplace When they are moving, it helps them a lot. But government cannot spend all the money. So they do it in PPP, means public-private partnership. In this, for this, for this Patel's statue, only 10% of the total amount was spent by the government. So when that happens, what?
Ma'am, your
It
voice
is
is
a two.
breaking.
Now, can you hear?
Ma'am, your voice is breaking, ma'am.
Yeah, I'll wait for a minute. Maybe there's some network issue. Hello?
Yes, ma'am. Now we can hear you.
Now you can hear, right. For a minute, sometimes it happens like that. So now this public-private partnership, only 10% of the money is spent by the government, but the company which invests in all the amount, later it has become one tourist point, right? So the later, as a tourist place, there will be a lot of business, there will be a lot of visitors. So like that, that amount is being recovered, right? So it's not a waste of money, because simply it has become a tourist attraction all over the world. Like how people go to they go to US, they go for Statue of Liberty, right? So in the same way, when they come to India, they make sure that they will see Taj Mahal, they see the Statue of Unity. And in Gujarat, the government has asked all the farmers to to give away their old farming instruments will be there, right? Equipment will be there. The used farming equipment, all that iron they have asked, the government has asked them to give it to for the construction of this. 5,000 tons of iron was used in this. So government has collected it from the people. Now, so that is about Sardar Patel, about his great. He had become a barrister. Means those days people used to go to London to finish their study of law. And after the country got independent, he became the deputy prime minister, and he went from place to place. All these princely states had become a big problem for the unification of the country. So in memory of such a great personality, the Statue of Liberty, Statue of Unity had been constructed. So about his schooling, about all that you can read over here. So how he went in the lines of Mahatma Gandhi also. You can his political philosophy, a very close associate to Mahatma Gandhi. Yes. About Annie Besant, I have told you, and about his her student or her follower is Jiddu Krishnamurti. That also I have told you. Theosophical Society. They wanted to say that there should be secular. See, you have what Sneha has told us, that the monotony or the monarchy or the dictatorship of the church, she didn't like. She said that everybody should be free to think rationally, to question the church. Why should we do it? Why should, if there is any rule imposed, should we go for it or not? So this Theosophical Society is something which theology is about God, about the way human beings are born and how they should be. That is, so she has the stature of a world teacher. Next. The next person is Mother Teresa. Yeah, just like Annie Besant, she was born in Europe and later came and spent all her life in India. So like that only you have Mother Teresa also working for the people of the country. Right. So anybody who can talk about Mother Teresa? Charan, you want to speak about Mother Teresa?
Yes, ma'am. She got Nobel Prize, ma'am.
Yes, Nobel Prize for what? Literature, for science, for what she got?
Ma'am. For peace.
For
For
peace.
peace, ma'am.
Yeah. So the word Mother Teresa itself gives you that peaceful feeling, right? So she became the mother to thousands of people. You can see then how this, young ones, orphans, those who were like, no, especially the girl child. People used to, after the birth, if the parents feel that it is again a girl child, they don't want to take care of that girl child. Girl child in India is treated as a burden and left in the roads of Kolkata. So she used to pick up all such children, orphans who were there, and took care of them. So many orphanages she has run. Yeah. So a huge society. Selfless. Yeah. Anybody who can say selfless service is the first name you will think of is Mother Teresa. So she, in her biography, she writes that it was while she was traveling in Europe, while she was traveling on one day in the train journey, she says that she got her call. Means she got her the feeling that now I should live for the humanity, not for myself. So that calling she heard, and she started moving into this area. So now the meeting will end, children. We'll join back once again. Then
Okay, ma'am.
please join back.